welcome to Lesson 1 of Mission 2. So we're going to be continuing on with multiplying, but today we're going to use just whole numbers. And we're going to be multiplying in multiples of 10. So I think it would be helpful for you to have a little bit more background information that is given to you in the Zearn lesson. So if I were to take 10 and multiply it by 1, that equals 10. If I multiply 10 times 10, it equals 100. If I multiply 10 times 100, that equals 1,000. And if I were to take 1,000 and multiply it by 10, that would equal 10,000. And the thing I want to show you here is if we look at this with our place value chart, okay, 10 times 1 is 10. So this place value is worth 10 times more than the ones place. And I know this because I multiplied it by 10 and got 10. Okay, so if I have 10 and I multiply it by 10, that equals 100, which is the next place value. And then the same thing happened here. 100 times 10 equals 1,000. So I hope you're noticing the pattern that each time, each place value is 10 times bigger than the place value before it. Another pattern that may help you with this is the idea of if you look at how many zeros are in the problem. Now this only works with multiples of 10. Okay, so here I have 1 0 and there is 1 0 in the answer. There are 2 zeros here and there are 2 zeros in the answer. Follow along, look at this pattern. There's 1, 2, 3 zeros, and there are 3 here. Okay, so we're going to be using this idea as we're going through our lesson today. Let's take a look at 20 times 6. Well, so this is really 2 sets of 10 and 6 ones. Think back, remember to about lesson 5 or so of our mission 1 when we were writing these out in expanded form. It's kind of looking a little more familiar now, isn't it? So if I take this and I say, okay, let's do my base facts. 2 times 6. 2 times 6 is 12. And I had ones multiplied by tens. Okay, so there's 1 0. So it's going to be 12 tens. And 12 tens is 120. Because remember, I can't put 12 here. So it has to be a 1 in the hundreds place and a 2 here, and then a 0 to hold my spot. So going with this, what if we had 20 times 60? That would be the same as saying 2 tens times 6 tens. If we use our base fact, 2 times 6, that is 12. And we have tens times tens. And if we look up here, 10 times 10 is 100. So that would be 12 hundreds. And if I were to write that out in standard form in just numbers, There's my 12. There are 2 zeros in 100. So that tells me I'm going to put 2 zeros here. And so it's 1,200. This is why sometimes you hear people talk about 1,200 as being 1,200, because really you have 12 groups of 100. So let's try this. Let's take it a step further. Let's do 20 times 600. So again, I'm going to be multiplying 2 tens times 6 hundreds. Two times 6 is 12. 10 times hundreds is 1,000. And if I look here, there's 1, 2, 3 zeros. Okay. In this, there's 1, 2, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3, which would be 12 thousands. Okay. 12 thousands. So let's do one more with this. Let's try 200 times 600. Ooh, that's a little different. So we're looking at doing 2 hundreds times 6 hundreds. And if we use our math facts, 12 times 2 is, 2 times 6 is 12. And then we have hundreds times hundreds, but I don't have hundreds up here. But I do know that 10 times 10 is 100. And so that tells me it went up 10 times twice. Okay, so if I'm already here, then if they go up 10 times twice, that's one time and another, then that tells me we're at our 10,000s. Okay, 10,000s, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. Okay, so this is thousands. Let's try 70 times 300. So that is 7 tens times 3 hundreds. Okay, so our math facts, 7 times 3 equals 21. And then we have tens times hundreds. Okay, we have tens and we want to go up 100. So that would be 10 times 10. So we would be looking at thousands now. So now we have 21 thousands. Which is 21,000. This is our standard form. And if I look, there's 1, 2, 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3. So my math fact, and then the number of zeros in the problem. So now let's do another one together. Let's do 4 times 400. So that would be how many here times 4 of what place? Pause here when you have it written. Click start. Okay, so we're looking at 4 ones times 4 hundreds. Okay, so 4 times 4 is 16. Ones times hundreds, just like if I were to say 1 times 10, that would be, or 1 times 100, that would be 100, right? So we're looking at hundreds. 16 hundreds. So we have 1600, which is 1600 or 1600 in standard form. Hope this helps.